What's up? This is Gordon Gray from Half Lit and DopelivenTV.
Hey, this your boy Don Ritchie representing the Midwest 219 Stand Up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Lamar Tate.
This is your girl, Monifa.
Hey, what up? It's your man, Dave Hollister from Blackstreet.
You know what this is right here. This Trigger Tretch in the building.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy, Jason Weaver. And whenever I'm back home in the Chi, I'm checking out Dope Living TV.
Hey, it's your girl, Ladina Howard, and you're watching Dope Living TV, live with Greg Gray and the crew.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy, Greg Gray. This is Dope Living TV Live. Let me start off by saying the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. All right, having said that, man, we're going to have a great show today. Welcome to the new week. It's another day God gave us, man, to get up, breathe, and do some things, make something happen differently. Like we're going to do on the show tonight, all right? Tonight, we got a brother, man. And in just 5 short minutes, we got to know who he was. And we already shit. Gina, you missed it. Gina, you missed it. What's wrong with you? You missed it. You got to come to you got to come to the moments. You slacking.
What?
You slacking.
What?
You're supposed to be there 10 minutes beforehand, too. What's up? You slacking, man. I don't even know. Let me put my phone down. What's up?
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Not a compliment, you know. But it's a better one than I would give Marcy. So we all good, all right?
No, leave Marcy alone.
I am. What's up, Mo?
What's happening, family?
Mo.
What's going on, man?
We chilling. Life coach in the house.
What's going on, family?
What's happening, Coach?
Not much. Another day of living.
Hey, man, we got
That's always good.
Mm-hmm. We've been having some really, really, really great guests on the show, man.
Mm-hmm.
They have turned into great shows. It's amazing how you look at them and you see the profiles and everybody and this and that. You talk about them, this and that. You be like, okay, we have to drag this out of it. This is probably just missing out. But it turned out to be some of the best conversations that we've had, man. So shout out to everybody that's coming through with DopelivenTV Live tonight. It's not going to be any different. Before we start the show, man, I want to send my condolences to Ricky Smiley. Lost his son, his 32-year-old son.
Oh, I did not know that. That one slipped by me.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I don't know if any
pray for that brother. I mean, he's giving and giving. You know, he's got surrogate babies that he's taking care of and stuff. So
wow.
Yeah.
32 years old, man. I could not imagine. And he did a video. He said before anybody start putting any rumors out or whatever, he was at his house getting ready to leave. He said the car was outside. Mm-hmm. And he just wanted to say, just pray for him, pray for his son's mother.
Wow.
Man, we got you in that prayer, bro.
Most definitely, man.
Yeah.
Just keep him in our prayers. Also the family of the young man who got beat up by 5 black officers.
In Memphis.
Right around the corner from Maurice's crib, you know.
Ain't in Memphis, bro. Ain't right around the corner.
You're like, that's 200 miles.
200 miles away.
This stuff has to end. We got to stop, okay? But this time it's us on us. So now
you know what's so crazy about that is that sister did all that she could do. As a chief police, she did everything she's supposed to do. And they still jumping on that case. You know, it's crazy.
It's a different narrative, though. Like I said, us against us now.
Yeah, but
it's a black man jumped on a black man. You know, difficult, man. Difficult to go ahead, Maurice. You want to say something real quick?
I was just saying, I know it's us on us, but I'm sorry, as far as following the correct steps and doing what she's supposed to do as a chief of police, she's done exactly what she's supposed to do. You know. So I mean, it's and they're getting all over. I mean, that's a big old mess in Memphis. I mean, they at least they didn't get away with anything. So I mean,
you couldn't get away. Come on, man. These brothers beat him worse than Rodney King.
Listen.
Oh man, that was worse than Rodney King beat.
Listen. I told my mom, she was talking about somebody sent the video to her and told her to watch it. I said, do not watch that. I told my mom not to
have a heart
watch
attack.
Yeah, that's
do not watch
heavy.
that.
It's heavy.
You do not.
I wish I hadn't watched it.
It's stayed in your head. Kind of, it's really deep. It's really deep.
It is.
I mean,
let's just pray for. Let's just pray for outcome that. I mean, we already know the outcome of what happened with the young man, but let's just pray for people's family, man.
Yeah.
Keep them in our thoughts. All right. Hey, you guys remember the singer Salento?
who?
I don't know cilantro.
And watch me nay and watch me whip.
Oh, him.
Yeah. Y'all know that dude is serving time and probably going to be doing life.
For what?
It's another story, man. He killed somebody.
The fuck?
Yeah.
The whip Nene?
Yes. Watch me whip. Watch me nay. Watch me whip.
He's gonna be whipping in Nene in prison. That's terrible.
No, he ain't gonna be Nene in prison.
He gonna be Nene. Come on, do the Nene.
Oh, dang, he gonna be Nene. That's right. Put that shirt in front of that.
He's gonna be Renee. All right, trust me. Not a good.
Oh my God, this is terrible. This is terrible.
Yeah, it's too much going on, man, in this world.
But we can really get up out of all of that. Okay, just wanted to throw, again, Ricky Smiley's family, man. Let's keep him in our prayers. Hey, man, tonight, look, this brother, he's a spoken word artist.
Yes.
And he's a photographer. We didn't know that. He's a photographer.
I know that.
We know it now. We might have to put him on, put him on with us.
Assignment or something.
Yes. Let's do some films with us. Everybody's Kenny Woods, better known as Kenny Fresh. What's going on, bro?
K Fresh.
Kenny Fresh.
K Fresh.
What's up? Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm so glad to be here.
Good to have you.
Yes, sir.
She up there, RJ the DJ. Get out of here, girl.
Not to be confused with Kenny G. You would be surprised when I first started. Like people, I think when you think Kenny, you think G. So people kept calling me Kenny G. I'm like, no, not quite.
He said, I'm not that man.
To do was grow your hair out and get you an instrument, man. You was cool. Get it? Anyway, again, welcome to the show, man. We appreciate you, man. So spoken word, man. Spoken word is it's making a resurgence, don't you think?
Yeah, man. I think it's always been here. I feel like the early 2000s it was being held down by a Def Poetry Jam. That kind of took it to the mainstream, and then I kind of jumped in it in the 2010s, and I think people were already doing it. There was all these, spoken word festivals like Southern Fried and other things. And then there's, the Women of the World Poetry Slam, where you have like the best women poets in the world competing for like the title of #1. So I think it's been around, but I think I feel like it's always been around. I think there's more eyes on it now. And a lot of people are bubbling and blowing up. So it's really cool. People like Rudy Francisco going on, I think the Jimmy Fallon show, I think that was last year. He did something with also, he did something on The Bachelor. Like the one episode of Bachelor I watched was because he was on there. He was a poet, and I guess one of the challenges that the girl, she took all the guys, they had to write a poem. The only reason, so like my daughter was judging me too when we got into Hulu the next day. She's like, "Who was watching The Bachelor?" I'm like, I'm like, nah. Like, I can't remember. But I'm like, nah, it was for a poet. She's like, sure. I'm like, nah, it was. And I think one of the things also is Amanda Gorman has been killing it. And so like a lot of these folks are taking poetry and spoken word to places that we've never seen. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I had never seen spoken word at the Super Bowl until Amanda Gorman did it.
Right.
Also got Brandon Leak, who was the first not only to compete on America's Got Talent, but he won. So that was a couple years ago, and I think that really helped boost the validity of poetry. It was always valid, but for it to win, as literally saying that spoken word is $1 million, it's $1 million talent. So pay us accordingly.
Yeah, you know, I think that, you know, the state of hip hop and R&B is so messed up right now that it's time for that to bubble back up. And like you said, it has never left. But I think it had been pushed down a little bit by all of this. I don't want to call it mess. I was told not to call stuff garbage and mess. Okay, but
diversions.
Yeah, you know, it just was so messed up and pushed down. Okay, I am so glad that it's getting out there. You know, we've had Geronimo Speaks on here. We had Nick Nova who's doing, and these guys are out there performing and doing their things, man. And I love to see this. Life Coach, you got a question?
Yeah, man. I want to know, you know, with you doing your spoken word, like, I know there are many things that people can draw their inspiration from, but for you personally, where do you draw that inspiration from to put into your work?
That's such a good question. And it's a hard one to answer because inspiration can come from anywhere. I think that unless you've been living under a rock, these last 3 years, there's been so much to write about. You don't have to try. You just walk around and look. But a lot of times it could be a word, it could be a phrase. A lot of poems are spawned from conversations with my wife, stuff I see on Facebook. Usually it all starts with either a word or a phrase, and then I'll build the whole poem around that. Sometimes I'll get the ending, the last line, like the punchline. I'll get that first. So I got to reverse engineer. It's almost like working backwards, leading up to that. Or I'll get a couple of lines. I'm like, oh, that's hard. I need to find a way to kind of finagle that. And then also another thing that helps me keep it fresh and stay creative is I do custom poems for folks. So sometimes people will reach out to me and they'll want me to write something for a particular occasion or for a business. That's so like 2020, the whole reason I got Cash App was because I had a friend she's a travel agent. She got a travel agency business, and I forget what month it was, but apparently it was like National Travel Day or something like that. And she wanted some haikus for her business. I'm like, yeah, I got you. Okay. So so I wrote those for her, and I thought that was really cool. I've done stuff for somebody for their book. They were doing like a devotional for teenagers, like a scriptural devotional, and so she wanted a poem. That I did that for her. That was April Starks, and so people come all the time asking, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Sometimes it's good stuff. Sometimes it's like sad, like to memorialize somebody. Like I had a friend, shout out to Ruben Otero. He lost his sister last year, and he's known me since I started in like back when I was in college in like 2010, 2011. And so he reached out to me like, hey man, this is super last minute, but she just passed. Could you do something? And I was able to do something in like maybe less than 24 hours. Because I he kind of gave me her story, what she was about. And I just wrote something real quick to kind of read at her celebration of her life. And, that was, and people were really blessed by her. His parents seemed like they really appreciated it. So, it's really an honor to be able to use the gift to help people, to support people's businesses and all that stuff. But yeah, back to the original question, is really just about life. Sometimes I'll be like just watching a movie or something and a word or phrase will come. And then sometimes it'll come out of nowhere. And there's times where I don't have inspiration, and that's kind of where discipline kind of kicks in. So where sometimes I'll make myself write. A lot of times it's trash. But if I go like 2 weeks or so without writing, I feel rusty. So I got to get back into it.
There go that word.
Mastering the craft, though.
I ain't say it. All right.
No, I can call my own stuff trash because I'm not gonna act like everything I write is gold. And there's a lot of stuff is like, oh man, that was trash. You need to go back to the drawing board, or you're on to something there. Maybe you should just kind of develop that idea some more. Yeah.
No, we get it. Moby, you had a question.
Yeah. So have you ever thought about writing for card companies? The black greeting card companies, or even Hallmark?
That's a great question. I think I've pitched to some. It was one like super local greeting card company, but that's something I would like to get into. And I didn't even know there were black-owned greeting.
Oh yeah, they are. I was getting ready to ask. I mean, that's a perfect opportunity to make your own lane and do it yourself.
Yeah. I might get into that For sure.
It's
That's a
good,
good idea. Thank you for that.
Why not? Oh, you didn't
Yeah.
took it, man. Copyright. Infringement. So what made you get started doing this? I mean, you said you talk about it so vibrant, What made you start doing it?
So it's funny. We were talking backstage. I hated writing growing up. So I loved reading. My parents bought me books a lot. And it was funny, in 6th grade, one time I was acting up and my mom grounded me from reading for leisure. Right. So I always loved reading. That love for words was always there. And I wrote my first poem in 2008 because, as most stories do, they started with a woman. A young lady broke my heart, and for whatever reason, I'm like, I'm gonna write a poem. Never wrote a poem before, but all I knew is they rhymed, and you write them when you're sad. That was all I had in terms of poetry and what it could be used for. And so I wrote the poem, and I'm like, that's all right. And then I was keeping a journal at the time, so I would do journal entries, and then sometimes there would be poems. And things really didn't click for me until 2010. Between 2010 and 2016. I lost all 4 of my grandfathers. Both my parents had biological fathers, but they also had stepfathers. And the first one to pass was my mother's biological father, Henry Clay Tutt Sr., and I call him Granddaddy. He passed away in 2010. I'd been writing for a couple years at that time. I took my poetry notebook to the wake, and I knew I wanted to say something, but I didn't know what I wanted to say. And then the words came like 45 minutes before the wake started. I did it. People loved it. I didn't think nothing of it. And then I'm getting my taxes done the next year. And I don't know how poetry came up, but I did the poem I did for my at my grandfather's wake. And the lady kind of broke down in tears. And she said it reminded her of her grandfather. And then there was another tax preparer who was kind of ear hustling. He's like, hey, man, I don't know if you know this, man, but you got a gift.
Yes, sir.
Oh, didn't know that. I didn't know it was, I had a gift. And so hearing that from him kind of just encouraged me to keep writing. And I was performing at open mics at my college, hosted by the English Club and stuff. And then I really kind of started hitting the scene in Louisville, Kentucky, right around 2011. So that's and I've been kind of just going full speed since then.
That's what's up, man. Impressive. Yeah. But, I know it's only 7:17, but I don't believe you.
This man.
What you mean you don't believe me?
Put your money where your mouth at, man.
You can talk about it, but can you be about it?
Okay. I got you.
Let's go.
If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
All right.
Yeah,
watching the show.
Just give me something, Kenny.
So this poem is called Art Makes Home. It's a newer poem. I wrote it in 2020. We're just going to get into it.
Let's go.
Your name is your name. Gifted by your parents, it's your announcement to the world. I am here in all your splendor and glory. The name you wear tells a part of your story. Chords strike in harmony as your native tongue paints strokes upon a canvas that most won't understand. The music you make comforts others and upsets a few, but what can they expect when heritage is your muse? You are your ancestors' dreams given wings. You flew to another hemisphere, traveled to a whole new world with your roots still intact. Your motherland gave you nourishment for the journey. Inside you lies the ability to thrive in strange soil. As you travel this road freshly paved, never forget from whence the foundation was laid. Home is where your heartbeat settles into its regular rhythm. Your streets knew you and you knew them. But here, in this new home, this unfamiliar space, your heartbeat pounds at an irregular pace over time. It will slow and beat steady. Life isn't easy. You don't expect it to be. There is still room in this country for the refugee. There is a bed for the rest you seek. Home is the place that lets you sleep. A space for comfort and healing. These 4 walls give you something to believe in. So believe them. You are home. Thank you. That's that piece.
All right.
That piece.
Talk about, boy. That's right. We get to snap.
Got me over here doing the dog scratch. I mean,
not the dog scratch. That's hilarious. Yeah, man. Thank y'all. I wrote that in 2020 for this organization called KRM, Kentucky Refugee Ministries. 2020 marked 30 years of them helping immigrants and refugees from around the world restart their lives over in Kentucky. And they wanted to celebrate. So their whole campaign was Art Makes Home. And I wrote that. And I was able to draw on I've never lived in another country, but I was actually born in Hawaii, and my dad was in the Navy. So my dad is from Texas, mom is from the Louisville, Southern Indiana area. They both graduated high school, met in Hawaii. A year later, here I am. And we moved from Hawaii, California, Texas, Florida, some of these places multiple times. So on a small scale, I knew what it was like to have to kind of uproot your life and move. So I kind of used that. And then there are certain things where it talked about the language being beautiful, like the name that you wear. You know, a lot of times people who have difficult names, they tease about their name, their language. And that part about language came from like a 11th grade memory that I had. I'm in Florida, right? So, you know, it's a lot of Spanish speaking folks, and we on the bus chilling. And I'm taking Spanish, so I'm hearing what some of these people are putting down. They loud with it. They just talking their language. It's great. But it must have troubled the bus driver's soul. He's this, you know, big, overweight, you know, white dude with a mullet. And he just bangs on his steering wheel like, English, speak English. This is like 04, 05. And, you know, I didn't have the words then, but I knew now. All I knew was something just felt wrong. And like, can he do that? Okay, okay, whatever, speak English. So I was able to use that when I said that, you know, the music you make comforts others and upsets a few. Because some people really be getting vexed in their spirit when they hear people speaking other languages. I think it's cool because, you know, we don't know what language that we originally spoke, right? No, we don't know that. So I think it's beautiful when people come from across the seas and they still have their accent, they have their food, their culture, their language. And so that poem really wanted to celebrate that. And I did it last year, and somebody thought I was writing about the Ukraine Russia conflict. I'm like, nah, this is a couple years before that. So that's kind of one of the fun things about poetry. People pick up different things. A lot of people, one person said they liked it because it talked about home, and they had just lost their home in a fire that they lived in for like, they lived at home for like 36 years. So hearing that part, the part about home really struck with them. Somebody said the part about rest because they've been working too much. So that's one of the things I love about poetry and spoken word is being able to put something out there and people take multiple different meanings, and it's able to comfort people in different ways. So,
absolutely,
definitely.
I'm kind of glad that we're doing these sessions, these sit downs, these conversations with these spoken word artists. You know, we did this before, but we just just threw it out there, and we didn't get a chance to know anything about them if they had anything to say, you know. But we put it out there differently, okay. But this time we're doing this, and these guys actually have real journeys. They have real things that they've gone through, and reasons as to why they're doing what they do, and that's impressive to me. Gina, you had a question.
Yes, Kenny, do you speak on the fly? Like if I gave you a word, can you just spit it out right there?
Challenge.
I mean, I think I could. Fun fact is, I used to freestyle with my brother, like, and some other like rapper friends. Like when you hit the open mics, like you run into a lot of rappers, and you know sometimes somebody will throw on a beat and people will start freestyling. So I probably could. It's been a while since I've.
He said probably, y'all. Do you
He did say probably. That you did my ear. Probably.
If you gave me a couple words, I think I could do something. Yeah.
Let's try it.
Let's do it.
Gina, give me a word.
Magilla Gorilla. I'm just playing.
He said Magilla Gorilla.
Love.
Okay, love. All right. Okay.
There we go. Let's go. Hey man, now you gotta kill this.
I'll try. All right. Love is one of the most dangerous words in the world. We use it too often, too cheaply. We throw it out there. When we want it back, we don't have any receipts. We say you complete me, but we need to be complete on our own. Love is something that's shown, it's grown. It's grown best in the homes. When you say love, I should feel it in my bones. It's a fire. Something like that.
You on the roll.
Right. Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up.
I like that. I feel it in my bones.
See, I would have went a different route with it.
We know what
you're doing. Hold on, let me get mine in. Wait. When I was a teenager, love only cost $20.
We go.
I don't know about that one.
Now we got inflation.
No. It only cost $20 around Fifth Avenue, all right? But now,
roses are red.
that I started having a job and I'm working. They be twerking.
Get this man off the air.
I can't do what you do, bro. I can't.
No, you can't.
No.
I try.
You're twerking and working, huh?
Hey, man, I had to find the word. Do you find it hard when you're starting doing this to find like there's a certain word that you can't find a rhyme or a metaphor to go with?
That's a great question. No, because what I'd like to do is I try to, there's direct rhyme and slant rhyme. I like to not necessarily worry about rhyming the words, but rhyming the syllables. So like with the first poem I did, I said, there's still room in this country for the refugee. There is a bed for the rest you seek. Home is the place that lets you sleep. So that et-tu-e, those sounds, I kind of focused on rhyming those sounds to kind of make words that don't rhyme sound very similar. So I think that's a good way to break out of it. Now, sometimes I do get stuck on I don't have a good metaphor. And so sometimes I feel like my stuff might be too straight to the point. It's not really layered enough, not really enough flowery, poetic language. And, sometimes that's just how it is. It's going to be straight to you. There's nothing deep about it. It is what it is. Take it how you feel. Right. But yeah, no, I don't really get stuck on the rhyme. Sometimes I just know I have an idea and trying to get that on paper. Sometimes that's where it gets stuck. So what I do is I just write. Even if it sucks, I'm just like, I call it writing the rust off. So I write until the rust comes off and I get to the good stuff. So I could write a whole half a poem and throw away most of it except for 2 or 3 really strong lines that came out near the end. So that's why I try not to let myself go too long without writing, because that rust will come and it'll show up in the work. But there's another thing too, is reading other poets' work. I have a couple of poet friends there. I'll just call a homie up and I'll spit a piece. And he's like, okay, then he'll spit one back. Or I got one that we do work swaps. Like, hey, we send it in text form via Google Doc or whatever, and we leave like little edits and comments. Oh, you should do this here. This metaphor is kind of getting lost here. And so that's something that I do as well. And that kind
collaboration.
That'll work, man. I mean, do you do you think, are there different styles of spoken word, or is spoken word just a genre in itself?
I think it's a genre, but just like anything, there's subgenres within the genre. So, take hip hop, right? There's gangster rap, there's conscious rap, now it's sing rap, there's mumble rap, there's all kinds, but it's all rap. So with poetry, I think it's the same thing. You got your yellers, like there's people who are like literally shouting. There's people who kind of sing songy. There's some people who kind of deliver it almost like a battle rap style kind of. You can tell the people that really do it for like that participate in poetry slams. They got that competitive edge and that kind of like Geronimo Speaks kind of gave me like I could tell that he came up doing open mics and poetry slams because of the way he delivered it. Then you got the people who kind of just read, which is great. That's accepted. They just they write for the page and every now and then they'll share it. But there's all kinds, and I'm sure there's so many different styles. But yeah, I believe there's different styles within the genre. Everybody just knows this is, spoken word is as diverse as any other genre of music or entertainment.
Absolutely. So do you perform? Do you get yourself out there to perform a lot?
Oh yeah, I do a lot of performances. So I've been performing on the Louisville scene. I started performing in 2011, and I've just kind of been going since then. I haven't been doing open mics or poetry slams since the pandemic started. I've just kind of been focused on like paid bookings and engagements. But yeah, like I was just last year, I was in Minnesota. I had an opportunity to go out to Minnesota, do some poetry, do some photography. I've been traveling all around Indiana and Kentucky. I had a gig, a couple performances in Ohio. So I just kind of, wherever people want to book me, that's kind of where I've been going. But yeah.
Do you find it that the rest of the genre, I should say, or the other genre, I should say, the hip hop and this, that, do they limit you guys to what you can do as far as, when there's a venue, say you wanted to get on that venue, do they let you on their venue, or are you guys limited to just making your own venues?
That's a good question. When I was coming up in the Louisville scene, they welcomed any entertainment. Like they would put on the flyer looking for poets, singers, rappers, all that. So poetry, we've never really been I don't think it's ever been limited. I think it's actually more engaging because we don't have a beat to hide behind. Like with rapping singers, like, you know, we all know there's some people who can't rap, there's some people who can't sing, but them beats is fire though. So that's kind of that's how that goes. But with poetry, we have all we have is our voice, we have our stage presence, we have our words if we choose to read them, we have our delivery. So I don't think it's limited. And I mean, there's even poets who are doing like outdoors festivals, you know what I'm saying? All kinds of genres, all kinds of venues. And like I said, it was at the Super Bowl. And so there's really I don't think there's any limits. I think it's more engaging. Like, you gotta listen. If you're here for poetry, you gotta listen. There's no beat to hide behind, no music, no dubbed vocals. It's straight and raw, no lip syncing, right? You know what I'm saying? It's straight from the artist's heart and mouth to the audience's ears.
Okay. So we're talking with having a conversation, let's say, with Kenny Fresh. I ain't gonna call you Kenny Woods no more. We don't know him. Kenny Fresh, sharing with us, all right, and giving us an education. Most definitely giving us an education, okay? And we appreciate him coming through. Moby, you had a question. I'm sorry, Life Coach had a question.
Oh yeah. Now you talk about the different genres and everything else that you've done, man. And I just want to commend you. Thank you for sharing the process, because I believe you are the first spoken word artist that we've had on here who's really shared and broken down the process of what it takes. You know what I mean? To really do that. But now I'm gonna get into my question. So what I want to ask you is, you know, with your different genres and different types of poetry that you have put out there with everybody, you know, what is your most memorable piece? What is the piece that really hit you? I mean, slapped you in the face.
The one he getting ready to do now?
That piece.
Well,
that piece,
actually, no, because I haven't. It's been a while since I've done it. Haven't memorized it. But the most impactful piece it's called DNA. It means Daddy Needs to Answer. Talking about fatherlessness. So it's not my story. I grew up with my dad in my life when he wasn't out to sea in the Navy.
Okay.
But I was around kids who had didn't have their father, and I would see the way they would look at me when I'd be out with my daughter and things like that. And so I just wrote, I'm like, man, one day these dads is gonna have to answer for why they weren't on their post. And I've had like grown men in their 30s walk up to me after a poetry slam, like, hey man, the dude was 30. He's like, I just met my dad for the first time. Your poem really touched me. I've gotten all kinds of those, especially from Black men, like, yo, this poem really touched me. So I think that is my most impactful poem. I don't have it memorized, so I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to mess it up.
Oh man, that would have been cold to hit up, brother.
I know, right?
Yeah. I wasn't, but people can hear it. I do have a Bandcamp, and I have like an audio project. That's the only place people can hear it because it is so special to me. It's not in my book. Only time people really hear that is if I perform it or perform it live. So I don't have that one prepared. But I do got another goodie I can do for you right now. So this one's called Meticulous. So here we go.
Meticulous, let's go.
Let's go. Meticulous. Never underestimate the power of your words. You see, we live in the age of word count. Every syllable is tallied and held in record, so you best make your words count, because life and death are in the power of the tongue, and I see some of you are still doubtful. Just think about all the lives lost as a result of cyberbullying. With the click of a mouse and some typed letters, souls are crushed and hope is fettered. There's too much going on in this world, so I can't keep wasting words. So many of us believe we were made in the image of God, but we fail to realize that just as his words give life, ours have the same effect. And no, we may not be able to bring planets into existence with our words, but our words shape the world around us. So you see, your words create your world. What you breathe into existence will be the framework for the portrait that your life will be painted in. This is why complaints are nothing more than ink blots on a freshly printed page. They take the focus off the words, and in some cases, hide a part of the story. This is why every word that I spit is handpicked. It was carefully considered and cautiously critiqued, because while I'm whispering sweet nothings in y'all ear, there was someone outside literally dying to hear words like, hello, what's your name? You matter. Or the most dangerous word in the world, love. So as you can see, I'm as tight with my words as a customer, calculating how much tip to leave. Should I give 15 or 20%? How much to speak if I'm able? Because just like them, I can't afford to leave too much laying on the table. There's too much vernacular manslaughter, reckless and danger with verbs, too many poor souls serving life from the damage of words served, and would that we all thought twice and aim to aspire adjectives of death into a liturgical literacy of life, because I've seen firsthand the strife that comes from wanton run-on sentences not structured intact in decency. And recently, it seems like we've forgotten how to communicate. But I'm not perfect, so I won't cast a stone. Rather, I will build, use my tongue to paint beautiful pictures in light of the sun, in light of the man I like to become. But it all starts with me, and then time translates to we. And this is not to preach to you, rather this is to reach to you. So let every said syllable sound of sincere structure, not settling for sombering stagnant sentences of servitude. So in short, words matter. Be meticulous. That's that piece.
Yo,
Hey, my man. Man,
Peace.
I just love how, like, when you put these words together, dude, like, you know how, like, who is that? Like, you remind me of like a Michael Eric Dyson of like spoken word, bro.
Speak on that, bro, for real.
Like,
yeah,
Michael Eric Dyson is real, like he real educated. He put the words right together. Dog, you just got it, man. You deliver that thing, bro, for real.
Yeah.
Yes.
Appreciate it. That one's actually in my that's in my book.
Talk about that book.
Equilibrium. Yeah, man. So this is a chat book. It's small on purpose. Chat books were designed to kind of be, put in worn in your pockets and put in your purses and stuff like that. And I didn't really want to jump out the window on a full length release on my first go round. So this is the first one, Equilibrium. I dropped it April 3rd, 2020, and that was crazy because of course the world shut down in March. And I had a whole book tour planned. I was going to be in like 4 or 5 different states.
Oh, wow.
People had said yes. I'm like, okay, we about to, all right. Then the world shut down right the middle of March. I was like, oh man, I almost pushed the book back. I'm like, are people even going to buy it? You know what I'm saying? We shut down. And so my wife, kind of pushed me. She's like, don't let one monkey stop the show. Even if it was like a worldwide monkey on the world's back, we're going to still push forward. And so I'm proud of it. I dropped it. It's almost been 3 years ago, and it's in like between 15 and 17 libraries. People, whenever I perform live, people just rush up to kind of buy it. So it's amazing. I love it. I'm super proud of it. And I'm working on the sequel to Equilibrium. Hopefully that'll come out summer of this year. We'll see.
Okay.
Nice.
Gina, he wrote a chat book. You ever heard of chat book?
No, I never heard of a chat book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that poets do. A lot of poets, they kind of start off with that because it's a lot that goes into doing a full length manuscript. So a lot of people just put out a chat book here or there, and then they kind of gear up for the full length. So that's kind of the strategy that I'm gonna use, and I like it. It's been received fairly well.
Might not have to go full out, man. Chat books might do the thing. Okay, Mo, you had a question.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the 90s for you a little bit. Common and Lauryn Hill, do they kind of put themselves in that spoken word kind of, flow?
I can hear that, especially Lauryn Hill's The Miseducation.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of
yes.
I wouldn't be mad. Like, if you took the beat away, a lot of that very well could be kind of spoken word. And Common, of course. I think Common, he was on Def Poetry Jam. He's done and you can tell when you listen to Common that he probably got his start writing poetry and just kind of transitioned into hip hop. But yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
What do you think about the Diggable Planets?
Diggable Planets. I only know the one song, which is like, is it Cool Like That or something like that?
Yeah.
That's the only song I really know from them, but that mug is fire. The beat is hard. I love it. And they've definitely got that spoken word sound to them as well.
Mm-hmm.
We beat to rap like he beats a lot.
Come on, man. Come on.
And Dead Prez too.
That was the cut, though. I'm telling you, man. Do you when you do your poetry, do you have music behind you?
You know what? The process evolves. When I first started, I used to listen to my favorite hip hop artists at the time or whatever. And then I found, I think my wife called me out on it one time. We were dating and I did a poem and she's like, I've heard a couple of those lines somewhere. Then it took me, I'm like, oh wait, those are from a song. So ever since then, I don't listen to music with words behind it. My new thing now is I listen to lo-fi or chill hop, whatever people want to call it. But lo-fi music is kind of pretty much hip hop, jazz, drums, and beats with no words. So it's a big thing. People like to just throw it on to listen to as they write, work, study. So that's what I have. And then sometimes I feel like I just need silence, just so I can just kind of hear the words in my mind better and get those out. And those times are few and far between. But a lot of times I'll just throw on some lo-fi, let it loop, or there'll be a particular song I've been feeling, a lo-fi song. I'll just throw that one song on loop and just kind of write. But that's music definitely plays a big part in the process.
So I know my son is a rapper, okay, and when he's freestyling, he says a little bit, and he has this key phrase that he says, and he says it more than once within the song. All right. When you guys spoken word artists do stuff like that, do you have a keyword that you fall back on to kind of keep the flow?
Sometimes I do have a refrain. I haven't really kind of played with refrains a lot. I've got a couple, but I don't usually do that. But I have seen other poets do it to kind of, because I think it helps bring home the theme of the piece or whatever you're talking about. You just go back to it, and then if you do it in such a way that's structured where now the audience can kind of anticipate it and say it with you. Those are really good pieces. I don't employ that method too much myself, but I've definitely played with it a couple of times.
Yeah, I love to hear spoken word that's so metaphorically filled. I love the metaphors, the similes and things of that nature. You guys are. I couldn't do it. And yeah, Jeff, he said Marcella.
Oh, okay.
No, he didn't say Marcella. Marcella's another cast member that wasn't here today. She's not feeling well today. She went to the doctor, but doctor told her to go home and do it because he didn't want to be around her either. So
oh, man.
This man is terrible.
Leave Marcy alone.
This man is terrible.
She said, no, you go home and you do. Look, I'm gonna tell you what to do, but you go home because I don't want to be around. That's out of here.
Keep your body karate to yourself.
Exactly. So you're a music journalist as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I was writing for this Georgia-based Christian hip hop company called Track Stars. Track Stars with a Z. And I had listened to the show. There were podcasts as well. I was listening to the show, and they were asking for writers in the fall of 2015. And I just kind of got the feeling yo, you should do that. I mean, even though that's not the kind of writing I do, I still had a feeling that I should do that. So I reached out to them when they were putting together the writing team because I love Christian hip hop. I've been listening to Christian hip hop now since almost about a little over 20 years. I listened to my first album in 2001. So when I came to them in 2015, started writing in 2016, I had a pretty definitive knowledge of the genre, and I just kind of wrote about it. It was fun. I wrote about all the artists that I liked, some artists that I didn't feel like were being covered enough. I wrote about them. I wrote about the Christian battle rappers that were doing big things in the scene. So I did that for all the way up until May of last year, and I just kind of felt like I should step away and focus on my own thing, push my own car, which is the poetry and freelance writing for other journals and stuff like that. So I did that for about 6 years, and now I write when I just kind of pitch articles to different outlets. And so one that I've been writing for is called Ruckus. They're an art-based journal. They're an art journal based out of Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah. And they cover artists from the American South and the Midwest up to certain points. And so I just recently had 2 articles drop on there within the last couple of weeks, interviewing artists, 2 visual artists. And so that's something I do on the spare time in between performances and gigs and stuff like that. It's just something I've kind of been stepping into. But I'm mostly known for the poetry because I've been doing it for over a decade. So that's kind of the main thing. But it's cool to write other stuff too. And I kind of write blogs for my website. So if I pitch something and nobody wants it, I'll just post it myself. So
there you go.
That's what's up.
My man Armand says real life Darius from Love Jones in the building.
Not Love Jones. That's everybody's go-to reference when it comes to spoken word or poetry. But yeah, you sound like Love Jones in here. Sure.
And you're ready to write.
We talking with Mr. Kenny Fresh on the show today, but we're gonna take a break, man, and we're gonna get to Mr. Life Coach Jeff Rallifer in
redirect, regroup, refocus.
No, here we go. Here we go.
So I want to make reference. Oh, wait, I didn't say what I usually say. Hey, it's your boy Life Coach Jeff with another 1 minute thought. Boom,
Come on.
get that out. And I want to make reference and go back to kind of something that was said earlier. And what was said earlier was we talked about calling your work trash. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know, even though your work can be trash, I want to let you know that your trash can also be something to actually manifest something greater. You know, a lot of times we stumble, we fall, you know, we make mistakes, but we have to realize that we say one person's trash is another person's treasure. You have to start looking at your own trash as maybe one day becoming your own treasure. So stop paying attention to that negative part of you and stop paying attention to that negative stuff that you manifest and create. Try to find the good in it. So then what you're able to do is you can move forward and create something even bigger from it.
Jeff, you know, we only messed up that transition one time.
One time.
We only messed it up one time. I love when we do that. This is the Life Coach Jeff Relevant. He got a podcast on Monday. He also has his own show with Mr. Armand Baskin.
Yes.
Narrative.
Changing the narrative.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're talking to Mr. Kenny Freshman out of Memphis, is it right?
No, I'm in Southern Indiana.
Oh, you're Southern Indiana?
Southern Indiana.
Ooh, you took him way down south.
I took him way down south.
Right on the tip of Indiana.
Man, okay, Jenny, you had a question.
I did.
It's
My
gone,
question, I'm just wondering, Kenny, that looked like a flycatcher in front of you. What is that?
Oh, this is just a pop filter. I've got a whole like microphone that I use with. So this I like the way it looks in the shot, so I've got it there. I feel like it looks official when you got the mic, kind of like the Life Coach got, you know, when you got the mic in the shot. But then if I got like this, you can't see the face. So I kind of push it back, so all you see is the pop filter. That just kind of keeps the spit and everything from getting on the mic. Because I use this also to record some poems. Right. Like when clients order like custom poems, I not only write them, but I also kind of record them for if they want to listen to them. So like I did something for a friend's wedding. And, you know, I wrote it. I went in person and performed it, but I also sent her the voice. So she's like, I need that just in case, you know, he started getting on my nerves. But also it was cool because whoever she got to do the videographer for her wedding, he used the vocal and he made this really dope video using, because the person, my friend, she's also an artist, used some of her music, used pieces of the poem I wrote, and it just gave it a real cinematic feel. So I like doing that, but you know, I feel like the microphone, it just kind of helps. I don't know. I feel like it looks more official, and it's just another tool of the trade.
Aesthetics are aesthetics are important too. So yeah. That's what's up. You know, Coach Jeff got them. I actually got one. So I don't know, but hey man, look. Before we get out of here, we need one more.
Yeah. I've got one more. This is a brand new poem. I have not performed this in public. I've sent it to some poet friends.
Exclusive.
Yeah, exclusive. I like rewarding them. If you watching with us, you watch the whole thing. I'm rewarding you with a brand new poem no one else has heard. Okay.
Gina, give us that echo.
Giving you a brand new poem that no one has heard. Exclusive.
Let's go.
Yeah. So this one's called From the Lips of Black Women. I like the way older Black women say poem, bending syntax and phonetics into a poem of their own making. Accents as viscous as the muddy waters the blues were born in. They call everyone sugar, dub us honey even if they don't know us. Them store-bought stereotypes could never match the organic taste of their sweet timbre. You heard what they said. Nomenclature in the right mouth feels like home. Instructions sing to the tune of, you be safe out there, baby. That drawl and diction tell tales taller than fiction, but all of it's true. Every greeting is a haiku. 17 syllables from a Black woman tell me more than novels and dusty bed bookstores. Spilling words best served with truth. Affirmations of I ain't lying to you, baby. confirms they sip only from the cups of honest tea. And what is tea without zest, sweetness, seasoned with the time we have left? Conversations with Black elders leave every region of the tongue ringing like them homemade meals mama used to make. There's nothing like listening to tales recounted from Black women. Chests expand on pride's helium when their praises go up, hanging our accomplishments on their timelines and group texts. The faces of their refrigerators were at capacity eons past. Poems, poetry, or poems. Whichever term falls from the lips of elder Black women like sweet rolling rain, I'll just nod my head and say, yes, ma'am, and recite my poem again.
Poem, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
At that poem.
Yeah, I love like yeah. That was inspired. There's the poet laureate of Kentucky. Her name is Crystal Wilkinson. She has a podcast called Words for the People, and I like the way she says poem. She says poem, and it reminded me of how other elder Black women say that word. They don't say poem; they're like poem, your poetry. So I just kind of like that. Just kind of wanted to make a poem, kind of giving homage to like the way that elder Black women speak, because it's really like thick and rich with history and all that stuff. So
So do you aspire to be a poet laureate?
Yeah, that's definitely a long-term goal. I would love to be a poet laureate. I think it'd just be cool to just be able to be like the face of poetry for your particular state or city.
So that's what that means for us people that don't know what that is.
Yeah. So the poet laureate is a government created position. Not every state has them, and some have them. Some states have them, and if they have them, some are paid, some are not paid. There are some cities that are recently getting them. Like California got like 3 or 4 or 5 poet laureates because it's such a big state, and those are poet laureates of their particular city. I know the poet laureate of Richmond, Virginia, Roscoe Burnham. I think his term is just about over, and I think there's a lot of cities that are just now getting, like I think Chicago is getting their first poet laureate, so people are running for that.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a big thing.
That's interesting.
It's making poetry more accessible to the people. It's like they do poetry, community-based programming around poetry, just really highlighting the art form. And then, of course, it goes from the city to the state. And then there's the poet laureate of the United States, and that's Ada Limon, and she's from Kentucky. That's kind of cool. She was just appointed last year, so I'm sure her program is going to start rolling out sometime this year. And but yeah, no, that's definitely it's a great goal, honor, and title and privilege to wear. So yeah, that would be something I would love to do. Yeah,
and like Jeff said, a lot of people didn't even know that.
I didn't.
That a poet laureate, you have a term to be.
Yeah.
It's an elected position.
I don't know if they're elected. I mean, there is like I think they're chosen and they serve, at least the ones in Indiana and I think Kentucky serve 2 years. I think most poet laureates serve about 2 years. I think the rulings just kind of go from state to state and city to city. And I think and of course there's like the youth poet laureate. So there's a poet laureate for like, and that's, I think Amanda Gorman was the youth poet laureate before she kind of blew up. So that's kind of another way. And there's youth poet laureates. Like I think there's there all kinds. So you just kind of got to look it up for your city, your state, your region to find out. Yeah.
Interesting.
Man, I look for the king. For sure. Hey man, we appreciate you hanging out with us, Kenny. It's been an honor to just sit here, listen to you, and vibe and learn your story, man. And you taught us some stuff, really. So we appreciate you, man. Before we leave here, we try to make some time for it. Today we got a little time. Leave the audience with something good, man. With a good thought before you get out of here.
A good thought.
Yeah.
I would say whatever you're trying to do, just keep pushing. There's a line I like to quote rappers like they're like the 21st century like scribes and modern scholars. So there's a line that's been kind of resonating in my head for the last month, and it's by this artist named Pat Jr. And it's I'm consistent. My signature move is repetition. So that's kind of, I feel like the story of how I got to where I got to. I just kind of kept pushing, and it's not just repetition. It's repetition, innovation, finding out what didn't work and making some tweaks. But it's really about repetition. A lot of your favorite artists that you see getting Grammys and all that, they just didn't stop. Like Toby and Wigway, he's up for Best New Artist. But
Cole.
I've been listening to Toby since 2018. When he first started, he was just sitting on the ground rapping while Fat braided his hair. That was all he did from his phone. That's how he started. And now you see where he's at. He's getting roles in the new Transformer movie. He's up for Best New Artist. He's working with people like Pharrell. That all happened because he didn't stop. And of course, he had a team and he innovated. But I would just say keep going. And I'm also talking to me because like a lot of people put glitter on stuff. You know, whenever you're chasing, it's hard. And I like there's a saying that's like, you know, working a 9 to 5 is hard. Chasing your dreams is hard. End of the day, you got to choose your hard. Life is hard either way. So just be persistent. If you believe this is what you're supposed to be doing, be persistent. Keep going. That repetition, that's what separates, I think, the goods from the greats.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. That's well said. Maurice, give us something.
Man, I agree with you wholeheartedly about, you know, chasing your dreams and keeping your hustle up, because like we always say on Dope Living, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Life coach.
Yeah, facts, man. Just keep moving with it, man. Don't stop. And you know, when people try to come, negativity will always try to come your way too. Don't listen to people when they try to deter you from your own dream that you know that God gave you.
That's right.
Stay the course and kick the haters behind you.
Yeah, Gina.
Man, this is an art. Spoken word is another form of art. Keep pushing it. You're doing a great job, Kenny. I love it.
Thank you.
And you know what? We got a lot of people watching, a lot of people out there that don't even know they're spoken word artists. Get out there. All you got to do is speak from your heart.
Period. Let it flow, man. You know, he quoted a rapper. I'm gonna quote a rapper too, okay? And I thought this was very, you know, especially doing what we do, doing what I do. You know, you it's arduous. It's a task to do this. So I want to quote. Who the hell is this? Paging me at 5:46 in the morning, crack of dawn, and now I'm yawning. Wipe the cold off my eye. See who's this paging me? Why? Anyway, that's who I'm going to use. The Notorious B.I.G. Y'all already know. Okay,
We already know.
When the mind of Greg Gray comes,
I could have folded my eye back and then just did some of this, but I said I'm gonna let it go. Anyway, hey man, we appreciate you, Kenny Fresh, man. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And thank you for showcasing that for us, man, giving us the exclusive on that poem. And if you got any more exclusives, man, just holler at us, all right? And shoot it our way. Say, Greg, look, I want to do one more for you, man, when we come, if you got time. And we gonna make a spot for you. Come on through, man, all right?
For sure. Thank y'all so much, man. If people want to connect with me, man, just refresherpoint.com is the website. refresherpoint.com. Instagram is @refresherpoint. Twitter is KennyFresh1025. Man, you just Google Kenny Fresh Poetry, my face should pop up. So stay in touch.
Most definitely. Get him on. He'll be back, y'all. We get him on here again. He's gonna hang out with us. No problem. You got it.
Following.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Let me hook that up too. She moved fast.
Right. Fast.
Okay, when we like people, Gina's notorious. She the first one. All right. When we don't like people,
yeah. But let me think about
it. We just roll them off, okay? We just say, okay, yeah, thanks for coming.
Just thanks for coming.
Need a key at the door.
Don't come back now. You hear?
We good, okay.
This
dude got some chicken. That's what he wants. This is Dope Living TV Live. Kenny Fresh is on here, and we had a good time today. And we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we got Chance Lamar Shepherd. I don't want to miss this, okay? Actor, singer, songwriter. You don't want to miss this, all right? That's it. We'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.
Peace.